A fair coin is tossed 3 times, and the events A and B are defined. A, at least one head is observed, and B, the number of heads observed is odd. And we're asked to identify the sample points and then find the probabilities. Well, first let's find all the sample points. If 3 coins are tossed, well, then we could have a heads, 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 tails, heads, tails, heads, heads, tails, tails. Then we could do the same for starting with tails. Tails, tails, tails. Tails, tails, heads. Tails, heads, tails. And tails, heads, heads. So in total, there are 8 sample points. So the sample points for A is when at least one head is observed, while at least one head is observed happens every single time except for tails, tails, tails. So let me quick write those out. Well, there we are. We have all of those sample points. Again, every single one except for tails, tails, tails. The sample points for B, the number of heads observed is odds. Well, heads, 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 that's 3 of them. 3 is odd. There's 2 heads and 2 heads, not odd. Heads, tails, tails is odd. Tails, tails, tails doesn't even have heads. Tails, tails, head, there's only 1 there. And tails, heads, tails, there's only 1 there. Now we get to A, and I like to think of this as or B. So what happens in A or B? Well, all of the points in B happen in A, so A or B is, again, all of A. So I'm just going to write C, A, because it's everything that was just listed, and I'm not going to relist all of those. But here we get A complement. An A complement means what's not in A. Well, what's not in A, the only point that's not in A is tails, tails, tails. So that is our only one in A complement. And then we have A and B. Well, what happens in A and what happens in B? And for that, it's actually everything that happens in B. So I'm just going to put C, the sample space for B, which is diagonal up there. Now we need to find the probabilities of the events. Well, for A, 7 of our sample points are observed out of a total of 8. So our probability is 7/8. For B, 4 sample points are observed out of 8. So we have 4 out of 8, or we would probably reduce that to 1/2. For A or B, well, again, that's the same as A, so 7/8. A complement, only 1 is observed, so that's 1 out of 8. And A and B, well, again, that was just like B. There's only 4 of them that occur, so that would be 1/2 again.